Let's talk about Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs because right now it seems like this organization is taking over the NFL and it seems like they're the brand new dynasty of the NFL. And they're going to be able to control the NFL for the next couple of years, in my opinion. You look at this Kansas City Chiefs run this season. They shouldn't have went all the way and won the Super Bowl this year, but they did. The odds were stacked against this team. It was the first time ever in Patrick Mahomes' career that he had to go on the road, win some road playoff games to get to the Super Bowl. They beat the Buffalo Bills and they beat the Baltimore Ravens as well. This defense was all world, but when you look at Patrick Mahomes' numbers, they're video game type numbers. In 6 starting years, he has 3 Super Bowls with 4 Super Bowl appearances. The one Super Bowl that he did lose was against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady. Let's look at the context here. Half the offensive line was decimated in that game. It was a huge drop by Tyreek Hill in that game, but no excuses, like he said. But 4 Super Bowl appearances, 3 Super Bowl wins, and 6 starting years, 6 AFC Championship appearances. So it seems like it's AFC Championship or Super Bowl or bust with Patrick Mahomes at that quarterback position when he is fully healthy. 2 NFL MVPs, 3 Super Bowl MVPs. He's already stacking up to be one of the best quarterbacks of all time if he continues to do this. And he's doing this before the age of 30, which is crazy. I don't want to get into the logistics of him versus Tom Brady. I'm going to accept it for what it is. And he's going to have to deal with that Tom Brady type of hate, to where people got sick of Tom Brady being in the Super Bowl, being in the AFC Championship. It didn't matter what team he went against. The casual fan, they're going to rock with the opposing team. I'm going to respect it for it as it is. He's one of the best quarterbacks of all time already, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL today. And in my opinion, he's the best quarterback in the NFL today. And he dealt with a lot of problems this year. Jawan Taylor was not good this season. 20 penalties on the season, the most penalized tackle in the NFL, the most penalized player in the NFL, and he allowed 5 sacks as well. Now, he did have some good games here and there. I don't want to come on here and just make it seem like Jawan Taylor was terrible in every single game this season. He was averaging a lot of penalties in almost every single game, but he did play well and he did play better down the stretch on the back half of the season, and he did have some good moments in the playoffs as well. Eventually, you're going to have to go out there and replace this guy because this is a guy you paid a lot of money to through free agency. He was a former tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and hopefully he could figure things out because he has the ability to go out there and he could be a solid tackle. Just this year, he was not good dealing with those holding penalties and just getting beat off the line of scrimmage. Hopefully he can be better with this team moving forward, but you can't move off of him after this season because you paid him a lot of money in the previous free agency period. You look at the wide receivers as well. Rashee Rice has potential to be a #1 wide receiver with this team. In his rookie season, 938 receiving yards, and he also has 7 receiving touchdowns as well. Besides Travis Kelce, he was the go-to option with this team. We all understand that Travis Kelce is one of the best tight ends of all time. He had a down year this year. Pretty much everyone on the offense did because of the drops by Sky Moore and the drops by Kadarius Toney. But when you look at Rashee Rice, he was very good this season. There is no reason why he can't be a #1 target moving forward with this team. He did this in his rookie season, and I think this kid can be special. Smooth route runner, has great hands, and has amazing speed in the open field. Travis Kelce hasn't slowed down either, so I like those two. You do want to go out there and bring in another wide receiver. And I'm not saying go out there in free agency and break the bank because you have to pay Chris Jones. You have to pay L'Jarius Sneed. I'm going to get to that defense in just a second. But when you have to go out there and pay those guys with Travis Kelce making a lot of money and also with Patrick Mahomes making a lot of money as well, you don't have to go out there and get a guy like Mike Evans. They don't need to. Andy Reid has proven that he can go out there, he can develop wide receivers before Patrick Mahomes was even with this team. They drafted Tyreek Hill. They developed him. They drafted Travis Kelce at tight end spot. They developed him. Now, they also are very great players in their own right, but Andy Reid did go out there, draft those guys up, and he got them into the right situation, and give the general manager credit as well. But Andy Reid has a huge input with the players on this team. They didn't draft Kadarius Toney. And I think Kadarius Toney needs to be cut from this team. For one, his hands don't work. He can't catch. And he's just mentally not there. He did have some big plays in that Super Bowl against the Philadelphia Eagles, but those were just short dump-off route plays, and they were beautifully designed in the red zone by Coach Reid. He didn't do anything special. He did have the one punt return that got them into a very good situation late in that Super Bowl, but what did he do this year? He cost them games this year. The first game against the Detroit Lions, they went for a pick 6 off his hands. You also looked at another terrible situation with Kadarius Toney against the New England Patriots. He's wide open in the middle of the field. Curl route. He gets open. He throws the ball. Immediately, it bounces off his hands. It goes for an interception to the New England Patriots. That's not on Patrick Mahomes. That's on Kadarius Toney. So either he has to be better and just focus, because a lot of this is just concentration drops. He's catching the football, but he drops it and he's trying to make a move upfield. That's what he did with the New York Giants. You're going to either have to go out there, sit down with him, get him to mature, or just move off of him. Sky Moore can still develop with this team. He did not have a good season this season. He had some good moments his rookie season, but he dealt with injuries. I do hope that he can be very good in his third year. That I have more faith and more confidence in Sky Moore than I do in Kadarius Toney. But you can go out there and draft a wide receiver in the first round or in the second round. Try to get a guy like a Keon Coleman from Florida State. I think that he can come in. He can do a lot of good things for you, a bit physical wide receiver. But there is no reason for his team to just go out there and crazy and try to bring in a guy like Mike Evans. He's a great fit. He's a big body wide receiver that can get open, but you can pay him a lot of money. If he wants to take a pay cut, bring him over. But if you look at the history of what the Kansas City Chiefs have done in free agency, they haven't went out there and they haven't made a big splash in free agency since they got Patrick Mahomes. They stuck to the core. They stuck with Travis Kelce. They stuck with Tyreek Hill at the time, and they had Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is good enough to get the best out of those wide receivers around him, and that's why Rashee Rice is going to have a lot of success with this team moving forward. You do want to get another option, but you can go cheap there. I look at the offensive line. I mentioned Jawan Taylor before. He had a lot of struggles this season. The same with Donovan Smith as well. The interior of this offensive line is crazy. This is the best interior offensive line in the NFL. You have Joe Thuney, you have Creed Humphrey, you have Trey Smith. Those three guys are road raiders, and they're phenomenal. And the fact that they won that Super Bowl with Joe Thuney being out dealing with a chest injury is also phenomenal as well. I do think that their offensive line will get better moving forward because they're still young. Creed Humphrey's already one of the best centers in the NFL, but I expect for them to get better on that offensive line front to just buy Patrick Mahomes more time. But they would definitely have to go out there and get some tackles as well, either through free agency or through the NFL draft. We will see. But the offense is great where it's at. And they dealt with a lot of struggles this season. They couldn't score in the second half as much as they have done in previous years, and they're 7-0 since they traded Tyreek Hill to the Miami Dolphins in the postseason. And their run game is very solid as well. A lot of it is because of the interior of the offensive line, but Isaiah Pacheco is one of the best power runners in the NFL. He is going to deal with a lot of injuries moving forward. That's the style of play that he has. He runs like Marshawn Lynch. And he doesn't have the same frame as a Marshawn Lynch, but he's a powerful runner. It's going to take 2 to 3 defenders to bring him down. And it's more than just Patrick Mahomes with this team, because Patrick Mahomes has that sneaky mobility to where he can move around, make crazy plays. He can pick up 3 to 4 yards like it's nothing. But when you have a guy like Isaiah Pacheco that you can lean on, you can get the football to 20 to 25 times in the game if need be, you're in an amazing situation. And Isaiah Pacheco had 935 rushing yards this season, and he also had 7 rushing touchdowns as well. He wasn't even supposed to be the star running back with this team the last 2 years. It was supposed to be Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So it seems like when this team has problems, they go out there and they get put into another blessed situation. And I love that for the Kansas City Chiefs, because remember a couple years ago, they couldn't get over the hump with Alex Smith. And it seems like everything's going in favor with this team right now due to sound coaching and just playing great football as well. A lot of people had a lot of questions about Patrick Mahomes. Can he win football games without Tyreek Hill? How would he look without the speed of Tyreek Hill? Can he dink and dunk his way down the field? Yes, he can. He's the perfect quarterback. And you put these pieces around him, they're complementary pieces. That's amazing. Now, I'm not calling Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice complementary pieces. I'm talking about the other guys in this team, guys like McCole Hardman, guys like Sky Moore that can step up. And give McCole Hardman a lot of credit as well. This is a guy that left the Kansas City Chiefs, not a true number 1, not a true number 2 wide receiver, but he's going to go out there and get some big plays here and there. He'll get a 30 to 40 yard reception. They'll get them down the field on third down. The same with Marquez Valdez-Scantling as well. That's why I mentioned before, do not be surprised this team does not go out in free agency and try to get big name wide receivers. They'll go out there to try to get a guy like MVS who can just take the top off the defense and can just be a good role player for you. They like to go with guys like that, and they'll try to go out there and get their true wide receivers in the NFL draft. And you look at this defense. It's the reason why Steve Spagnuolo just signed a contract extension with this team. He deserves it. One of the best defensive minds in the NFL, not just this season, but throughout this entire tenure with the Kansas City Chiefs. This defense was very good this season. They're second in total defense, 4th in passing defense. The way that he sends blitzes when he needs to out the slot, and the way that he makes quarterbacks uncomfortable. George Karlaftis has developed very nicely with this team. And this is a kid that I was high on even in the past coming from Purdue. You can go back and watch the other videos. I have been very high on this kid. 10.5 sacks on this season. And you can see it in his rookie season. He was getting to the quarterback. He just couldn't bring the quarterback down. But he's batting down the ball at the line of scrimmage. He was doing big things with this team. I love what he's been able to do with this team. 10.5 sacks, and he's proven that he's one of the best pass rushers on this team. He's great against the run. He's great at getting to the quarterback, and he's going to only get better as well. This was just his second season in the NFL. You look at Chris Jones, who had the highest win rate against double teams and the highest sack rate against double teams as well. Phenomenal. 10.5 sacks on the season, and he was supposed to miss a couple games this season. But he only missed one because he wanted to go out there and get a big contract with this team. I expect for him to stick around with this team. He already said that. Will he take a pay cut? We will see. But he's one of those defensive linemen that you look at that made a huge role into why they won that Super Bowl against the San Francisco 49ers. Blowing up plays, wasn't letting Brock Purdy get comfortable. The same with George Karlaftis. George Karlaftis has benefited a lot from Chris Jones as well, from just going out there and playing alongside him. You also have Charles Omenihu as well, who's a very good pass rusher with this team. A lot of people don't even realize this. He got hurt against the Baltimore Ravens. He tore his ACL, but on the season, he was very good with this team. Charles Omenihu went out there and had a very impressive season this season. He had 7 sacks on the season, 2 forced fumbles, and he was making some huge plays against Lamar Jackson. He's that type of edge rusher that's going to come in and stop the quarterback from moving around as much, especially those guys like a Lamar Jackson, a guy like a Josh Allen. He made big plays in those games. So you have to give him credit as well. He's one of those unsung heroes with this team. And you look at the linebackers. Willie Gay is phenomenal as well. He's a Road Raider with this team. Nick Bolton is another Road Raider with this team as well. Just great tacklers and just go out there and can stop the run as a whole. And their secondary is elite. L'Jarius Sneed needs to come back with this team next season. We will see. We've heard what he said in interviews. He wants to get paid. He wants to be paid like a top corner in the NFL, and as he should be. He allowed 0 touchdowns this season with 2 interceptions, 4 pass breakups, and he only allowed 470 passing yards. That was it. Other than that, he was phenomenal this season. Besides him allowing 470 receiving yards, and that's not even that much if you want to be technical about it, because of the way that their offense was letting them down in the back half of games. In the second half, the defense out there for the majority of the game, it was a lot of 3 and outs, a lot of drops that were going, a lot of fumbles as well. The offense looked messy. Let's go back and see what happened against the Miami Dolphins when they played overseas in Germany. The defense basically won that game. It was a fumble by Tyreek Hill. They take it to the house. They win that game by 7 points. The Chiefs didn't even score in the second half. The defense got them over the top with guys like L'Jarius Sneed, who was phenomenal against Tyreek Hill in that game, who was phenomenal against Tyreek Hill in the playoffs, who did a huge number against the Baltimore Ravens as well, and who also did a great number against the Buffalo Bills as well. And the same against Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk in the Super Bowl. And give Trent McDuffie his credit as well. Trent McDuffie has been a phenomenal cornerback with this team. He's been a great draft pick with this organization. So I look at what the general manager's been able to do. He's been able to just put guys out there in the field that are just straight up ballers. That's pretty much it. It does start with Patrick Mahomes, but it's a lot of things around Patrick Mahomes that works out. Yes, he goes out there, he makes the crazy plays. He's getting all the praise, he's getting all the glory, and as he should. He should get a lot of credit because he's the face of the franchise. He is the true organizational piece. Without him, this wouldn't be able to work as effectively. But let's give other guys credit as well. Guys on this defense that stepped up this season. Guys like George Karlaftis. Guys like Charles Omenihu. Guys like Chris Jones. Justin Reed at times. And Justin Reed did have a down year this year. Not calling him terrible, but he did have some weak games this season. But you look at those cornerbacks, they're phenomenal. If they can keep Chris Jones, L'Jarius Sneed, that's a great free agency period with this team. That would be all world with this team, with the pieces that you already have. With a Isaiah Pacheco, with a Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Clyde Edwards-Helaire gave you some good snaps this year. The only thing is with Clyde, he can't stay healthy. That's it. And he was a first round pick. That's the only miss that you can say that this organization has done the last couple of years. They select him in the first round, in the back half of the first round from LSU. He was supposed to come in and be this game changing type of running back. That didn't work out his rookie season. Then you look at Isaiah Pacheco. He comes in. He's a diamond in the rough. And you still have Travis Kelce. You have these key pieces. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be the next team making another dynasty run. This team could truly be the first team in NFL history to win 3 Super Bowls back to back to back. I don't want to say that right now because the season just ended, but if they go out there and they can keep things the way that they are, there's no reason why they can't go to another Super Bowl. And you look at the division that they're in. The Los Angeles Chargers, they are bringing in Jim Harbaugh. I expect for them to be better, but it's going to take more than just a year to get right with that team. The Las Vegas Raiders, I love what they have with their defense. I love the pieces that they have on the offensive end with Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs. They don't have a quarterback. And the last team that beat the Kansas City Chiefs were the Las Vegas Raiders. So we will see what they can do. And right now with the Denver Broncos, they also beat the Chiefs as well. But they may cut Russell Wilson. They may keep him around. Russell Wilson is not good enough to go out there and beat this team on a consistent basis. You can go out there and you can beat this team in the regular season, but can't do it when it matters the most. So even with all those things that went wrong with this team this season, they still found a way to go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you guys feel about the Kansas City Chiefs, and can this team win another Super Bowl with this upcoming season? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one, guys, stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. God bless. Peace.